All right, War 11 bands. We have Apocalypse, Kingpin, and due to someone's fat finger misclick, Invisible Woman. All right, so for Boss Island Gallon, we got Symbiote, Supreme, Rintraw, and Blade. Mangog, we've got Mr. Negative, Scorpion, Magic. Mordo, we've got Null, possibly Anti-Venom. Could even get away with Kitty Pryde. Cersei there, Rintraw, Hood. Probably even still Symbiote Supreme, but it would be a power gain nightmare. Infamous Doom, Null, Cosmic Ghost Rider, I'm sure could still work. You probably still even get away with someone like Immortal Abomination. Hyperion, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Symbiote Supreme might still work. Hood, maybe, probably not. Hulkling, you've got Tigra, Hood, Symbiote Supreme, and then Man-Thing, you've got Nebula, Mr. Negative, Immortal Abomination, so plenty of options there. 1 through 3 on the way out, Cap Sam, we've got Null, we've got Herc with the Armor Break Synergy, Path 1, you can go Omega Red there for Killmonger, or go with Warlock, and then for Chavez, you've got Mr. Negative, Ant-Man, as the easiest buff immune options. And then Path 2 there, Magneto, Nimrod, or Omega Sentinel, and then Omega Red or any real mutant option there for Hitmonkey. And then Guardian, you've got Cosmic Ghost Rider. Null can probably get away with it as well. 4 through 6 on the way out, Mojo, you've got Mr. Negative, you've got Human Torch, probably even have Rolk or Kitty Pryde. Path 4, Shang-Chi, the whole thing, Mole Man, the whole thing, Fury, the whole thing. Path 5, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, this Silver Centurion for Kitty Pryde, and then for Mephisto, Human Torch with Nova Flame or Kitty Pryde. Path 6 there, you can actually take the whole thing with War Machine. Nimrod for Apocalypse, and then maybe a Incinerate Immune like Rolk or Kitty Pryde for Human Torch. And then Bishop on the way in, just throw a Incinerate Immune at it. Rolk, Kitty Pryde, or shoot, who was I thinking about just a second ago? Can't think of it now. Those are probably your two best options. So 7 through 9, way out Nova, you've got Magneto, you've got Doom. So plenty of options for him. Path 7 there, Warlock or Nimrod for Domino, and then Fury or Mole Man for Quicksilver. And then Path 8 there, you can Cosmic Ghost Rider the whole thing, or bring Nimrod or Mega Sentinel for Storm Pyramid X. And then go ahead and use Doom or Rintraw for Surfer, Doom for Surfer if the global is down. And then Path 9 there is a pretty simple Nebula, but Ant-Man could take Sasquatch, and then Nimrod or Omega Sentinel for Weapon X. Doom on the way in, either Blade or Magneto with Max Pacify. Looking back up top, 1 through 3 on the way in, King Groot, you've got Cosmic Ghost Rider or Null. 1 through 3 on the way out, I-Hulk, got Warlock as probably the pretty simple option. And then Path 1, either Elsa or Falcon for Thing, and then Human Torch or Rolk for Wong. And then Path 2 there, any Poison Immune, so Nimrod or Warlock for Immortal Abomination, and then Omega Red or White Magneto for Korg. And then Mole Man there, pretty simple, doesn't benefit from the nodes, so you can use Storm, you can use White Magneto, you could use Omega Red, so just bring a hard counter for him. Sorry, middle minis, Human Torch is probably your easiest. I don't know that Omega Sentinel would have a good time, but she can at least bypass the miss. Maybe Ant-Man would be helpful as well. And then Penny Parker, You could go with Quake. You could go with Hulkling. Could probably go with Shang-Chi or Cosmic Ghost Rider. Maybe not. Ghost Rider would be interesting. Or Magneto. That's who I was thinking of. And then 4 through 6, Way Out, Rintrah, Human Torch, Mr. Negative, Kitty Pryde. Path 4, could get away with Doom for Annihilus, and then Fury or Shang-Chi for Terrax. You can also use Shang-Chi for Annihilus. Path 5 there, Magneto for Dark Hawk or Herc. And then for Fury, Kitty Pryde or Omega Red. Path 6 is empty. 7 through 9 on the way out, Modok. You can go with Quake or you can go with Shang-Chi. Path 7, Longshot, Kitty Pryde or Human Torch. And then Nebula or Human Torch or Scorpion for Dragon Man. Path 8, got plenty of options for Herc. You've got Doom or Tigra. And then Path 9, Jabari Panther, Cosmic Ghost Rider, or Shang-Chi for Void. And then Warlock, Nimrod, maybe even Omega Sentinel for Havok. So that does it for defense. Let's take a look at attack. All right, so War 11 is against 4 Loki. Shout out to Vega Clown, Usafa, PWF, and B McG, and any others in that alliance that I actually know that I talk to and that I don't talk to. Today I took in Warlock, Mr. Negative, and Shang-Chi. I've got Path 9 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, and a mini-boss on Boss Island. So Path 9, Section 1, Void here. We are going to take it with Shang-Chi. You guys have seen me do this before. I actually hadn't played all day before going into this fight, so I did a couple duels to make sure I had animations down and parry timing down. And with this Void fight, I'll just say I played a little bit more timid than I would have liked or than I normally like, meaning anytime he threw a special 1, I don't think I dexed it at all. I just didn't want to get clipped, didn't want to risk it. But the game plan here is cleanse Wushu, parry heavy, reset, all the way to special 2, and then when we get to special 2, do the cleanse Wushu into a special 2. And you see there I've blocked that, but I saw that debuff coming, decided to wait out, because I can heavy retaliate a special 1. And then after that special 2, we're going to go right back into cleanse Wushu, parry, heavy, reset. And that's going to be the fight. We're going to lose a good chunk of health here from block damage and him constantly having the 48% fury. And there's even one instance that I have a debuff on me longer than I would like. And it's because I decide to heavy right before it's going to place. I believe it's this one here. It's about to place and I decide to heavy. Thought I could actually time it just a second slower. Didn't want to risk Void coming out of the stun. But you can see it's a super safe fight. I block everything there and it doesn't matter. Warlock here against Havok. What I'm going to do is be aggressive, hitting into Havok's block when he's in the Incinerate phase and when he's in the Poison phase. And because this node has Power Focus 1, I'm actually going to end combos short into a block so that I can bait out a heavy or intercept and just constantly push him back to his wall during the Poison phase and prevent him from throwing that special 1, which is going to, if it is unblockable, it's going to cause me to actually dex back 3 times and create a lot of distance towards my own wall. So you see here Poison phase ending into a block, going to go hit into his block, and then stopping during the Incinerate. Getting him to turtle, hitting into block. We're all the way at his wall, so multiple hits is just going to eat up the timer, but I just decided to do a couple. Getting some intercepts there that I'm not meaning to, but it's working out, so I just hit once. And then we're right back into this, throwing the special 2. I don't throw a medium into special 2 that has been known to create space between the opponent and Warlock and make the entire special 2 get blocked. So I end up doing full combos into my special 2s. And this should be the last Incinerate phase, so we've done a great job keeping him on his side of the map and never really getting cornered. In an instance where you think you're going to get cornered, I would suggest saving to the special 3. Instead of doing special 2s, they're just as safe. It just makes the fight a little bit longer due to animation, and that'll get you out of your wall. But it goes down pretty easy. And then the Last fight on Path 9 is a shared fight here, and it's Shang-Chi's last fight. We actually had a perfect war where every champion in my lineup took 2 fights each. But Shang-Chi had this Modok here. There was kind of a question mark as to whether Shang-Chi could take it, but I knew, or I figured based on a rotation, that he could. And how this works is that we actually do the stun wushu into Modok's block, and we have to make sure it's his block and not an auto block into his block. A lot of times that messes up the chain for the wushu. It either does not count or he dexes out of the combo in the middle of it. So we get him to turtle, we do the stun wushu. While he's stunned, we do the cleanse wushu, and the stun lasts long enough for us to do a heavy right after that cleanse wushu. And we just rinse and repeat that strategy until we get to special 2. And then when we get to special 2 and we know that we're going to be ready to save it or to throw it, we are actually going to stun wushu into block, cleanse wushu, and then let him come out of the stun, set ourselves up to hit into his block again, and we do the block wushu into special 2. So we've done well so far. We actually ended up with a white Magneto pre-fight here, so we've got 15% more attack, but as you can see, I'm not going to parry this whole fight at all. I knew this next set of stun cleanse was going to push me to special 2, so there I am backing off instead of doing the heavy reset. I'm waiting for him to block after throwing this special 1. Once he gets the block up, I go in for the unblockable, and then I throw the special 2, and it's game over. So super easy fight for Shang-Chi, as long as you can work out getting the AI to block and hit into his block. We move on to section 2. Killmonger here, we slapped on tech boosts. We're going to take this with Warlock. The armor breaks are going to be our friend in getting rid of reverb and basically shutting down Killmonger's power gain from his gaining debuffs on top of the indestructible buffs. So the start here is a little rough. I decided not to parry a lot, which would have been helpful in building infection, but also would have given him a good bit of power at the start. And I was not sure if he had willpower before going into this. So I throw this special 2 without infection, which means we don't have armor breaks until the end of it, which means it didn't hit very big, and we didn't get a lot of power back from our special 2. So now we get to build that power back up. While he's armor broken, he's going to come out of the armor break before we get to special 2. Not a big deal. I am kind of going to slow down here a little bit, let some of the reverb and take some blocked hits instead of dealing with reverb. But we get him armor broken there. We get a good bit of power back. Build to the next special 2. We're going to reach it before the armor breaks disappear, which is good. And if we wanted even more back from these power backs, we would have just slapped on suicides. But figured it was a safe bet without, and I don't need them for the next fight. So Warlock, second fight, done. So as I said, it was a perfect war for each champion. So these last 2 fights are for Mr. Negative. We still have that PS1. So Mr. Negative is just going to destroy this Chavez. We're going to parry heavy 3 times. Off of that, we are going to evade counter and bank the 9 light energy. And then we're going to parry heavy a couple times as we bait her special 1, and with the dex and the parry and the fury from baiting that special 1 and throwing that 1 heavy, we are going to evade counter a second time and go into special 2. So there's a heavy. I'm going to bait this special 1 out. She's going to be a little bit stubborn, but she'll finally throw it. Believe on this 3rd attempt here. There we go. Bank that, evade counter, good. Combo into special 2, just in case she had unfazed. And she just ticks away. So very easy fight for Mr. Negative, not a problem at all. We move on to our last fight, the most common fight we've taken all season, Mangog on 54. We've got Mr. Fantastic pre-fights here because it is a rank 4, and we want to make sure that unfazed or anything doesn't cause us to lose this fight. We have the science boosts on as well. Game plan, if you've never seen this before, and I think this is the 9th time this season I've taken this, it is to parry 3 times, and on the 3rd parry, we're going to heavy. His power is low enough, thanks to Max Petrify and Mr. Fantastic debuffs, that we can parry 1 more time and we evade counter, so we have the 9 dark energy. Do a 3-hit combo, go back to the 3 parries. Heavy on the 3rd. He decided not to throw his special 1. That's fine. We're going to block, evade, counter, combo into special 2. And this is going to tick him away. I don't care if he's going to throw the special 1 or not. I'm just going to add on the damage. So I decide to parry heavy and bait out the special 2. I know it's not going to kill me. I have max in equity. And boop, he goes. So 6 fights this war. Clean war. Nothing to worry about. That ended my war. Our battle group actually ended up losing to their battle group 2-1, which was pretty unfortunate considering they lost this war 5-6. So I think the entire time I've been in New Nation, we've only tied for Loki once and then beat him all the other times. So this is the first time we've lost the 4 Loki. It is what it is. This season, for our matchups, we've had a considerably easier schedule compared to past seasons. And we've kind of thrown away wars we should have been winning. And all of them have been by 1 death, a couple by 2 technically, since we would have lost on a tie. But as you see with this one, we would have won on a tie with time. But congrats to the 4 Loki. They showed up. We definitely put them under a microscope at the end, considering we finished our war first. And they rose to the occasion. So good war to them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I will catch you guys at the last war of the season.